lock in now, laser focus.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Locked In. My name is Megan Holden.
And I'm Sam Rodriguez.
And here we bring you the latest and hottest NFL, NBA, and Korean Young Minds League debates and hottest topics. For those who don't know, the Korean Young Minds Undiscovered League is first replica of European basketball and development in the USA. They take talent from all levels and compete at the highest level in Texas. They got college level players. They have overseas players, former NBA players. Very, very interesting. We'll put the link in the comments below if you guys want to check that out. They usually play on weekends. But for our debates today, we have the NBA All-Star selection. We know the starters now. Sam's very upset. I'm going to let him vent when it's time. We also are talking about when NFL free agency is coming up pretty soon, around the corner. Which is actually the places that's the top destination? Where should players want to go? So we're going to be debating that. Also, we have a Korean Young Minds Undiscovered League debate for you later today. But before that, Sam, can you let us know who we have coming on our guest for today?
All right. So we have the CEO and co-founder of the Sports Me app, which puts you in the place of the people like First Take. His name's Jeff Rubin over here. Mr. Jeff Rubin, how are we doing today?
Hey, what up, guys? What up, Megan? What up, Sam? Thanks for having me on the show. Love being here.
Thanks for coming. We always enjoy debating you on the app, so it's going to be fun debating on you on a podcast today.
Yeah, for sure.
But first off, I want to know, like the fans would know, what are your favorite teams?
Boston. Everything Boston.
Absolutely.
Everything Boston. And then I'm a huge Florida Gator fan, which is random because I went to Bryant. You guys are close to Rhode Island. Didn't go to Florida. I got into Florida, but I didn't go for some reason. I chose Bryant over Florida. But I was born in Florida, some family in Florida, and I love the school. And so it's a little strange. I know you guys are all Boston.
Oh, no, I'm all Boston. I'm committed. Oh. Sam is all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
He has the reasons.
Fan.
No, I'm not a Boston fan.
It's kind of nasty. Like he's a Broncos fan, a Lakers fan.
So I'm a Denver fan for football, Broncos fan. Sorry, my dog's just barking in the background nonstop at nothing.
He's mad about it. He's telling you, like, man, you're wrong, but go ahead.
Broncos fan. Lived a little in New York, so I'm a Yankees fan. My grandfather owns an apartment at the Bronx. So on the roof, you can see the Yankee Stadium right on top. So we watch the games up there. And then people hate but the Lakers. I got to.
So basically, Sam, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
I guess so.
At least he has a reason. So I'll give him that. At least he has a reason. He tries to get his Lakers fans on the show, so I'm happy I can get a fellow Boston fan. Even though times are hard for us right now, we're not going to let him bring us down. Okay? We're going to stay our ground today. But I want to talk about real quick before we get onto our topics. Quickly, our NFL news or reports. Panthers are clearing up cap space, apparently. They want to make a run at Deshaun Watson. I want to know a quick take on this. Is Deshaun Watson even going to get traded? And where do you see the Panthers? Do you think they can pull this off?
You know, the second I even heard that they were considering trading Christian McCaffrey for anybody in football, I'm thinking that GM should be fired. Like, just get rid of him before he even makes the horrible decision to get rid of what should be the future of the NFL. And Deshaun Watson is great, but you can get other quarterbacks who are in the realm of like, think about like advanced like statistics, what the A's did, right? Like they had a couple guys who could fill the gap of like, when they lost the first baseman, whatever his name is, everything the A's did, right? Like you have a couple guys who can come in and do the thing that the one superstar did. You can do that in football, right? You can get a quarterback who can be somewhere near Watson. But Christian McCaffrey, he is uncopyable. There is no, I don't know anyone else in football who can do what he does. So that's just my hot take.
All right. The reason, if it's Chris McCaffrey for Deshaun Watson straight up, I think that's because I think I value a franchise QB over a running back because obviously have more impact on winning. And I feel like Deshaun Watson's a top 3 cornerback in the NFL, especially given what he had last season. He still put up those numbers. But the fact that you attached also 3 first-round picks, including with Christian McCaffrey, I mean, it's going to be hard to say no to that. I feel like that's going to be winning package. That's the best package that anyone could put out right now, right? But I'm not sure if that is the solution. Also, given who else, if you give away McCaffrey, who does he really have there to help? I mean, that's his best weapon. That's his best weapon. That's leaving. So I'm not sure if Washington would even waive his no trade clause to go to that situation. Deshaun Watson, if he said it's about who blinks first, this is what I think this is going to be about. Who blinks first? If he says he's going to sit out, I think they're going to be forced to trade him. But if he's gonna just end up playing, they're not going to trade him. It's interesting though, because Teddy Bridgewater deleted all his ties with Carolina Panthers, all his social media accounts after this report came out. So this can end up affecting who the QB, if they don't get Deshaun Watson, who's the QB going to be in the future. Sam, your quick take on this.
People are saying a lot about, they have the best package, but it doesn't matter. If Watson doesn't want to go there, he doesn't have to go there. That no trade clause is serious. Like, the Jets have a great package. He's not going to want to go to the Jets. Come on. They could get – maybe New York. I'm sorry?
Maybe just because it's New York City, he might want to go. But.
Yeah, but he's wasting his years again. Like, that's just like you leave in Houston to go to
But like I was saying, the Panthers, they could have a great package. Christian McCaffrey, like 8 first-round picks. If he don't want to go there, he's not going there. That's done. He has all the say in it, so he's going to pick where he wants to go. That package really doesn't matter.
True. All right, next quickly, Packers save over $10 million in cap space by releasing veteran linebacker Christian Kirksey and offensive tackle Rick Wagner. They've been filling up cap space recently. I think they're trying to make a move. I think they should go for a wide receiver, like maybe they were tied to Will Fuller during the trade deadline. But I think they also been tied to J.J. Watt recently, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. Also, Eagles released Deshaun Jackson. Real quick, do you think he's done in the NFL, or do you think he's gonna get another job?
He's not done. He'll fit in somewhere. He's not gonna be very productive, but he'll fill in like a Des Bryant role, like on the Ravens, maybe a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. You can see that. He just has to stay healthy. That's his biggest thing. He can produce, but he's never healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little older now. So if he's your 4th receiver, you're in a good spot, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Tampa Bay loves this, again, a bunch of wide receiver names over there, so I could see him maybe end up a place like that. All right, now first debate. Since we're talking about NFL, free agency, right? Free agency is right on the corner. I want to know, if you're a free agent, you're a top free agent, let's consider cap space here, destination, a name, where the team is at. What is the most attractive destination heading into free agency, heading this offseason to the NFL? Like, what's the most attractive?
Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay had, in football, you kind of got to go year by year, right? It's a little different than some of the other leagues. If Brady's going to play one more year and you're a wide receiver and you're looking for like mid-range money and they have the cap, I have no idea what the cap space situation is in Tampa Bay, but why would you not take a 1-year contract to play with the GOAT? If they stay healthy, I mean, and granted, the Chiefs are probably going to get a little bit stronger too. They need to on defense, and the offensive line just needs to be healthy. Our guy at Sportsman, Andrew Wiley, had a beast of a game, but his brothers on the offensive line were a little injured. I would go to Tampa Bay. I'd go to the Rams just because it's LA and it's nice weather. I'd go to Miami because Tua is potentially the future there. I still think if you're Houston and you're in Miami, maybe you do a little swap of quarterbacks and a little pick action.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe New England because, they still have Belichick. They still have all the, they do have a great defense. When all these guys come back from the COVID list of guys who didn't play, people forget. We had like 5 of our best defensive players did not play this season. We had offensive linemen, and we have a ton of cap space. So it'll be interesting to see what the Patriots do. And people like to play for Bill Belichick. Obviously, people like to play with Tom Brady. But,
So your top 3 is Tampa Bay, Miami, and New England?
I'd say, again, I think players like to play and, there's a couple factors of like, they like to play on a winning team. Let me rephrase. They like money.
Yeah.
They like to play on a winning team, and they also like warm weather over cold weather. So I'm just thinking Tampa Bay, Miami, and and LA are like the 3 that fit that description.
Yeah. So we put up actually the cap space information yesterday through our social media. Tampa Bay has around 20 million. Miami is up there. Patriots obviously I think are top 3.
Yeah, a ton.
So I want to touch on my top team is Miami. I'm gonna say this for one. One's a young upcoming team, great coach, right?
Yeah.
They have picks. they have Arsenal, so they're only going to get better. They're in the AFC, which I feel like is a little bit easier than the NFC, right? Also, on top of it, like I said, just you're in Miami, the city, the nice weather, it attracts people, even when they weren't winning. So I can imagine now that they're winning, people are going to go. Next on the list, I'm gonna go. Actually, I think Baltimore. Baltimore has some money. People like the grit defense. They like Baltimore. They like the coaching, the style there. It's tough. It's a tough team, and they have the cap space. I can see them being very aggressive.
Yeah.
And I would say the good thing with Tampa Bay is this: they focus more on keeping their own guys. So I'm not really sure if they're going to be attracted to if they're going to be after going after other free agents. And also, do they really look that dominant? Let's be honest. Do they really look that dominant throughout the season? I feel like they stepped it up in the playoffs.
They don't need to be dominant. They just need to be enough to get to the playoff and be a top. Honestly, they just need to be a top 5 team, get into the playoffs, and do their thing. They have Tom Brady. They have a team that can come up with big plays, and they just showed that by winning a Super Bowl.
So I'm there with you as far as I love Brady, but I have to admit that defense is what won them the playoffs, and that defense was spectacular.
Totally.
They might lose Shaq. It's gonna be tough for Tampa Bay to know if they're gonna franchise Shaq Barrett or Chris Goodwin, because I don't see them keeping both. They don't.
It will be interesting to see what happens.
So I feel like they use Shaq Barrett as a big hit on the defense. But here's my team instead of Tampa Bay. I think LA Chargers. You're in LA. You have you also have cap space. Another young outcome team in an easier division.
Yeah. I would say yes, but then I remember that they have the worst culture of losing in all of sports. That there's no question in my mind the Chargers are not going to be a successful team this season. And successful doesn't mean they won't make the playoffs. There is a 0% chance they're going to win a first playoff game, let alone win a Super Bowl. This team, it's like they expect in their fans, it's like they expect to lose every season. But it's fun, hypothetically, to think about what could happen if we were like the other teams. Like, let's have a good time. Let's pretend we're New England. We're Tampa Bay. We're the other LA teams, right? So I would never want to be a Charger fan. And
I was gonna say, what do you think that's changed? Because like I get they always underperform, right? They don't always lose. They're not like the Jets, they're not always losing, but they do underperform. But look at the Buffalo Bills. I mean, the right pieces can change that around. I think the fact that they're in LA now, they're in LA, they have a nice market, nice upcoming team. They changed the whole coaching, so let's gonna see how that impacts them. Also, so reminded me that we did not also mention Dallas, which actually last year was actually number 1 according to players. I think Sports Illustrated did a piece on, like, they talked to agents, like what are the top destinations, and Dallas was actually on that list, despite the constant we talk about losing or shortcomings. But they love the freedom of like just the Jerry Jones spoils his players. Even playing in a big market like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You still see Cowboys as a destination, the top destination?
No. I mean, well, I do, only because in the NFL, contracts are not what they are in baseball and basketball. So there's no tax. There's significantly less taxes in Texas. So players want to play. Players want to play in Texas or Florida because it has the best taxes for players. You don't want to play for a California team because you're literally giving up 10% of your salary. If you're in Florida or you're in Texas, you're giving up like 1.5% or like 2% or something like that. I mean, that's a huge millions and millions of dollars for some of these guys who have bigger or like medium range contracts. If you're a wide receiver who gets a $5 million contract, think about the difference between 10% of that or 1% of that.
True.
But even with that said, I don't think people are going to play in Houston this year. But I think that's one of the least desirable destination. And I'm going to, before we get to Sam, people, Duffy and BT Sports said not New England, Megan. I agree. I have to agree with you, Jeff, because they lost Brady.
Yep.
Right now, people are questioning. Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment. Like where, especially now, where is that offense? Where are they going? Are they a winning team? Bill Belichick has a strict system. Is it worth going to that strict system? That much pressure coming off fans that have been spoiled. We have been spoiled. We're spoiled brats, Jeff. I'm gonna admit it. We're spoiled brats.
Amazing. It's the greatest feeling ever as a sports fan.
It is. But for the athletes, it might not be as great if you come into a team that is losing. You got all that blame on you. Also, that strict system, and is it even a guarantee that they're going to be there? So even though they have the cap space to throw it around, I think they're going to not have much luck as getting the top guys because they have so many question marks. They can still win without Brady, and I don't know if it's worth it for some players to play in that system, in this atmosphere, just to maybe get to the playoffs.
I mean, I don't disagree, and like, of course, I'm a little biased because I'm a Patriots fan, and everyone in the sportsman universe knows if you mention the Celtics, they're going to win the championship, and they're going to win every game by 60 points. So that's how I think about it. But no, I mean, look, I think of it like this: before Cam Newton had COVID, this team was a playoff contender, and they were actually a Super Bowl contender. They were playing great. Their offense was super dynamic. Teams couldn't stop their run attack. It was a multi-prong. You had the quarterback running. You had Harris, who is a monster. Harris is a monster. He's going to be one of the top NFL running backs next season. # fantasy sports. And then I look at the defense. All these guys are coming back. They have like the third most cap space in football. You have some of the best coaches at every position. Forget about just Belichick. You have great coaches across. They just got Matt Patriarca back. Whatever his name, Patricia.
Yeah, I don't think that's a plus, though, to be honest.
No, but you know what, Megan? He's still, for his role, like know your role, slow your roll. Like he literally is great at his role. Some guys can't be ahead, and the Patriots have proven this out every single season. Guys leave Belichick, they're not successful. They come back, they win Super Bowls.
Flores in Miami looks pretty good, and that's why I think actually was a better defensive coordinator, because even though Matt Patricia was that bend but don't break defense until you got Revis and all the talented guys coming in, right? And that defense really stepped up. Flores, I think, especially after they traded Chandler Jones, Revis left, he really had those young guys stepped up. Trey Flowers, they did that system where they had the front seven. You don't know who's coming at you. They use guys different ways. Move things around. You see he's doing that in Miami. I actually prefer Flores. I'm not sure if Matt Patricia is coming back is a good thing. And also that defense, you say guys are coming back. It's really just Patrick Chung and Hightower. Maybe just Hightower, because now that Duggar looked pretty good, the draft pick, is Patrick Chung expendable. So, and also now there's a question if Gilmore's going to stay, because now you got J.C. Jackson as a restricted free agent, and you have Gilmore who wants more money. They're talking about getting rid of Gilmore. You don't have questions. You still don't got a true pass rusher. I would love to get J.J. Watt. I'm just throwing it out there. And then, like I said, I'm not sure if that defense is coming back. I know a lot of people are saying that, but you're not really getting much back there. Offensively, I don't think that was all on Cam. I think you need wide receivers. You need weapons. You had the worst. They also
have a ton of money in cap space.
Yes.
So
like
much.
I think they have like the most money. Is like the second or third most. In cap.
They're the third most right now.
What is it like
60 over 60 mil?
Yeah, 62.
Do you know how much money 60 million is like 15 great players. It literally is like you could probably get like 2 stars and like a whole bunch of medium level guys. And I don't know what the receiver free agency group is like, but all you need is, Edelman will be back. You just need to get like 2 or 3, like 2 good receivers, and you'll be fine.
You need that one top guy. You need that one top wide receiver. I feel
of course. Easier said than done, but
oh yeah, for sure. I would love if you strike out. I think you might have to go trade for Adele, but this is the point of the conversation. Is Patriots even because who's going to be the QB? Wide receivers going to look at that. Are they even going to be desirable to any of these top wide receiver free agents? Because there's a bunch. This is a perfect wide receiver market right now. It's going out. Bunch of great wide receivers. Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, Chris Goodwin might be, depending, he might get franchise tag. Yep. You got Will Fuller. You got so many guys.
Yeah.
I'm worried that they might not even attract anyone. That's something they're worried about too, because they're trying to figure out the QB situation. Before we kick it to Sam, because I know, Sam, we're not even letting you pick your teams yet.
Well, no one wants to talk about the Denver Broncos. So.
I know, right? Let's be honest here.
Like the least exciting team to talk about because they're just like boring football. No, I'm just kidding. But
yeah, are they even going to be attractive? Like, what do they have to do? Who do they have to sign? What move do they have to do to be attractive to those wide receivers?
I mean, I would love to see Bill Belichick just go anti-Bill Belichick and make a trade for Deshaun Watson. I think they could do it. I think they have the draft picks. They have a sexy first-round pick this season. They have a bunch of second-rounders. No one trades in drafts better than the Patriots. And and you can give up a couple pieces. And if Watson were to come to the Patriots, you're looking at another dynasty. And so I'm thinking, like, why Bill, let's go. Like, let's get this done.
Yeah. That's the best option for sure, but I'm just not sure especially if the Panthers are offering Christian McCaffrey. I'm not sure if we can top anything. But that's definitely the best option. That's definitely go all in, go home on that. But Sam, what's your top destination before we get to the All-Stars?
So there's a good amount of them right now. Honestly, I'm looking at the cap spaces and such that you said. The Patriots, Washington football team even looked pretty good last year. That'd be a solid destination. But honestly, it depends on where Deshaun Watson goes. That
if he stays, though,
the most desirable place. Because say he goes to the Patriots, that's going to attract receivers. Say he goes to the Jags, well, that won't happen. But say he goes to the Jets, I'm sure that'll attract some receivers. And I honestly, if he goes to Denver, it's over. I think that'll be a great free agency spot because we have Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. I'm sure we can get a better tight end over there. We have a solid defense. I'm sure bringing him over would bring a couple more defensive players. And the Broncos aren't a bad team, just a bunch of young players.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of young players. They're young coaching staff. So bring over Deshaun Watson. That'd be a pretty desirable destination. And we have the cap space, too, to bring in some players.
I know this was just a segue for you to get to mention Watson.
It's true, though.
If Watson stays in Houston, if they force him to play, if they don't force him to play, they force him to keep him there, and he doesn't sit out, what's your top destination?
Oh, that's tough.
I know.
I'm honestly gonna have to go Jags.
I mean, you really think he's going to play in Houston next season? I think he'll sit out.
But he's not the player to sit out. He's not the player to sit out.
But they just covered JJ Watt too. I think that's like crossing the line.
But it's not franchise QB. JJ Watt is a guy who's kind of past his prime. It's different when you have a franchise QB.
JJ Watt, that's gonna show Deshaun like, all right, when am I gonna go?
Yeah, it's JJ is the face of that team, so it's not Deshaun Watson. So he's been there longer.
I mean, Deshaun Watson is the new face because he's the franchise QB. If he says he's gonna sit out, he's gonna get traded. But if he doesn't, if he's gonna just play angry, they're gonna keep on the team. They don't care if he's angry. If he's gonna play, they're gonna keep him on the team because you don't trade a franchise QB. And I think they know that. And especially you have a new GM coming in, you're not really trying to mess up this team or the pressure of doing a bad trade. But real quick, you mentioned Washington. I love Washington. I just their owner and everything causes such a bad environment. I'm not sure if that's really attractive to anybody, to be honest, as long as that owner's there. Great coach, great young players, great young defense. But that owner, man, I think it's tough. But even though I love to see Cam Newton there because Ron River connection, great offensive line. And I think they'll see us out.
It's actually Washington is not a bad fit. Peyton Barber, sports me guy. So love to see it. That could work.
Yeah, I think that's the best fit for me, to be honest. All right, now, Sam, I'm going to let you go first since you waited so long. You're being so patient. I know you got a lot to say on this topic. NBA All-Star selections, right? You can see down below. We got the little ticker going of who was the top selections. So how do you feel about the starters who got voted in?
So I'm going to start off with the West real quick. I'm upset. Dame, I think he got robbed. Luka's a phenomenal player. Do not get me wrong. No slight to Luka. I just feel like Dame's been that guy. And he deserves that shot. We saw the player vote. He won by 70 players. The media vote, he won by 30 votes. But that fan vote killed him. He lost by 4 million, 1.2 million, something like that. I just think the fans should not have as much say as the players who are out there actually playing against these guys. Rather so, and the media actually right on top of it. Because I feel like some people vote for the finals without even watching basketball games. They vote for the All-Star games without having the knowledge I see Alex Caruso. All right, I'm going to vote for him. We saw that. He shouldn't even have been in the top 10.
Yeah.
So it's just fans really, if they don't watch basketball, they should not be able to vote. They shouldn't.
Well, they want to vote for, that's we talked about this last show too. If people just want to vote for who's on the team, right? Yeah. They don't care if they deserve it or not. Or they want to vote for names. Like Klay Thompson made it. CJ McCollum, who's banged up, I believe was in top 10 as well. He hasn't played since January.
Yeah.
So I agree with you there. With Dame got snubbed. Dame, here's the difference, actually is impacting winning, and especially with CJ McCollum and I'm saying his name right, Juric. I can't say. Yeah. The center there, Portland center there, has been out since early January, and he took that team, and I believe they're the fourth or third best team now in the Western Conference. He's really impacting winning. He's coming in clutch. You see him late game, even though the defense is suspect. Late game scenarios, he's taking the team and he's winning the games, hitting clutch shots, putting up 40 points the other night. 16 assists the other night as well. Like, he's doing it more than just scoring.
Yeah,
I feel like
fourth right now.
Yeah, Blazers. That's a difference, and then I believe that the Mavericks actually have a losing record, right? Was it 10-15 or
13-15?
13-15, yes. And they're struggling. Luka's still playing good, but he's not impacting winning. Even Luka said himself, like, I should be MVP conversation this year. And the way since Dame has been playing since in January, people are saying he's a top 3 candidate right now.
Yeah.
Top 3, top 4 candidate. Even because, Joker and Embiid's doing well too. So he's impacting winning. He's putting up the numbers. He's putting up just as good numbers as Luka. There's really no reason why that Luka should start over other than the name.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped this battle on SportsMe. Someone else started it, and I said it was Luka. But I was looking at the stats for this season, and obviously the standings. And like, let's not get this twisted. Like, Dallas is not good. Like, they have a ton of issues. They don't play good defense. They lost Seth Curry was a bigger loss than they thought. They brought in Richardson, who's a great defensive player, but he's not Seth Curry. He's not going to hit threes consistently. He plays great defense. He also holds the ball a lot. Luka's great. I did say on my battle, Luka should have got the nod. But now that I look at the actual stats and I think about the what you said, right? Like, outside of the U.S., everybody voted for Luka. Everybody in China and everybody in Europe. I forget about China. Like, Europe, they all voted for Luka. An entire country voted for, like, every basketball fan in Croatia vote. And I went to Croatia with my wife for a friend's wedding. And it's like this unbelievable place. They love basketball there. There's millions and millions of people. They all voted. There's like not one of them did not vote for Luka, right? So, but when you look at the facts, Dame higher PER by 1, which immediately tells me he's a more efficient player. He's scoring more. Like, his assists and his rebounds are obviously down. He's not going to rebound as much as Luka, but his 3-point percentage is way higher. Luka is not a. And field goal percentage is 45 to 47, but that's because Luka is going to the hole probably a little bit more. He's also a bigger player, so he's in the paint more. Free throws, Dame is crushing him by I think it's 20 points, which is crazy. Where is it? Right here. It's field goal percentage is 45%. Free throw percentage 93 to 79. Like, 79 is okay.
Yeah.
93 is like Dame is like one of the top 5. Is like one of the top 5, and so also his team, right? Like, the Blazers are a chance. If the Lakers look, if the Lakers if they don't get AD back and healthy, there is a absolute chance that the Blazers, if they're healthy, and you forgot about Zach Collins, who was a monster. If they have Zach Collins and they have Nurkic and they have Cantor down low, and they have
Trent showing out now.
Yeah, Trent, some other guys, like they have Melo who can step up. They have some other athletic guys. They have some good defenders. That's why they brought in what's his name from Miami? What's his name?
Jones. Derek Jones.
Yeah. And they also have Trevor Ariza, right? So it's like this team.
No, Covington now.
Oh, yeah, who is even better? Who I love. Yeah. Look, this team. If I think they can win the West, honestly, if AD is out for extended periods, Blazers can win the West. Their thing is they just need to be healthy and let Dame take over, and they'll be fine. But it should have gone to. It should have went to Lillard, and he knows it. So
like you mentioned,
they have an all-star game, so it doesn't even matter.
Like I seen, same stats, similar stats, but one impacts winning, one is clutch, and the other one doesn't rub off the same way. And they're both below 2 average defenders. Another player I feel like got snubbed is Jaylen Brown, since we're on the topic. Jaylen Brown, he was number 2 in sports media, but to the fans, and what happened with Dame and Luka is that it was actually even, but then the fans is what, ended up being separate as far as what decided to vote. But yeah, so media had Jaylen Brown number 2, and then players, and then the fans had him 5. Totally
Yeah,
disrespectful.
the
Best all-around guard in the NBA right now to me.
totally. I guess the only issue is, and I'm looking at some of these stats right here for the backcourt. Yeah, Jalen was five in the fan rank, 5 in the player rank. You have to have, I guess technically you don't have to, but like in the All-Star game, they have a point guard. He's not a point guard, right?
Yeah.
And would I take him over Bradley Beal? Like maybe, like biased as a Celtics fan, but Beal is having like a stellar scoring season. So
Yeah, but it's more than a game. This is why I say, like, it's more than a game of horse here. He's a great shooter. He's getting most points per game, but he's also the worst defense in the league, and that's why the team is also one of the worst defense in the league. He's not impacted winning versus an all-around player. Jaylen Brown has been a top 15 defense and offensive wise in the NBA this season. I'd rather take a top 15 guy than a top 10 guy in one area and the bottom of the league of another.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue Jaylen Brown is the best defensive player in basketball.
Yeah, I feel like for a forward, that's one of the best forward defenders. Yeah. But I would say Marcus Smart is probably still the best defender on the Celtics when healthy.
You could argue Marcus Smart is the best defender in the NBA because everyone, when they think about defenders, it always goes to a big man. But that makes no sense to me when you look at this.
No, it doesn't.
It automatically goes to like a Giannis or someone when actually Marcus is just as effective and Marcus can guard everybody. Like on a pick and roll, which is the bread and butter of the NBA, is pick and roll and 3-pointers. He can guard AD in a pinch, and I'm not saying he's going to stop AD, but he can give AD problems he can make it tough for him to score on an isolation play. Name another guard who can do that to AD, who I think could easily be the best offensive player in the NBA because he's literally unstoppable.
Give Marcus Smart LeBron James height. He's winning Defensive Player of the Year after year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But now I just say I want, because I know we have to go. Keeping a little bit extra. Thank you for that. I know it's your daughter's birthday today.
No, it's all good. I can stay on for a few more.
I want to ask you about Sports Me.
Yep.
I want to know, you created this amazing app, a way for podcast and sports fans, and even athletes to come in, have hot debates. Kind of like, it's like a videos, go back and forth each other. It's a great concept. Great. It's going great right now. How did it all start?
Honestly, it was just a bunch of sports fans who felt something was missing from their experience. It came from multiple places. I had a different experience that I was missing out than Derek did. Derek had a different experience that was missing from Hollins, and who's one of our co-founders. And it just kind of turned into what it is now, based off where the industry was going, how consumers behave, which is really just tech talk for the way that sports fans want to consume and talk about content. We just Sports Me is a radically different platform than any other platform on earth, let alone sports. Where and everyone always has asked the age-old question, why is there no social platform for sports? Is because it doesn't work like that. You don't need to have a social for sports. If there's an Instagram, if there's a Facebook, there's already those things. So everyone and their mother has tried to create a Facebook for sports or an Instagram for sports or like a Snap for sports. Those things already exist. So like you're not going to be even close to 10x better than a Facebook or an Instagram or a Snap at sports. So like that's what everyone's done. And so our approach was, we're going to do something totally different that doesn't take away from anything anyone else is doing, and really just lets people asynchronously, so at any time, create content together, collaborate seamlessly in seconds with anyone in the Sports Meverse. And we have a ton coming, which Sam, I know Megan, I've got to know you as much, but there's a lot of features coming that we think are pretty game changing for creators, for podcasters, for fans, for teams, for league, for sponsors, for players. I may have said players twice. But really right now we are so laser focused on just the community, getting the community right. And for everyone listening, come in, hop in, battle Megan and Sam. You literally just hop in, you'll find tons of battles or just conversations, just called what we call content. Some are crazy, some are crazy debate, and some of them are just people talking about sports like a podcast, and it's short gamified pieces of content that can soon be used and so we have some really dope features coming where it can be used with a YouTube, with a podcast, with IG, with Twitter. So there's some more integration-based stuff that we're doing, and we're excited. I mean, we have crazy engagement. Like, people spend more time on Sports Me than they do almost every other app except for like the Twitters, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Snaps. I don't know if anyone actually uses Facebook anymore. And
no disrespect to our Facebook project.
And the community, which is where I'm really focused on, is it's amazing. Like, people become friends through Sports Me, and how we scale it out will be interesting. We have our first kind of big feature coming in like 3 weeks, which is more so like how you join Sports Me than a feature, but we're doing something cool that we think will help our transition from small community to massive, platform. But a lot will change. It'll get far more gamified, which is dope. I'm excited. It'll get far more. I don't want to say too many things, but it'll be fun. And
leave some of the suspense.
But for lots of suspense. But for creators, a stat like most people don't think. 99% of podcast, and just in the podcast, right? And this doesn't include creators. This is just podcasting, sports podcasting. 99% of these people, these creators in podcasting, get less than 1% of the distribution and the revenue. These are millions and millions of creators who get less than 1%.
Well, Sam trying to change professions.
So we're changing that, and so part of the goal was to change that because monetization is most likely never going to happen. Distribution is extremely hard. Even growing a following count and showing why there are so many podcasts. How do you? It really comes down to who are you loyal to. What podcast is in your Rolodex of like a couple podcasts that I listen to every week. How do you choose which one? There are so many. Like, Locked In Sports is amazing. There's a million others that are amazing too, but they don't have the notoriety or the name of some of the bigger ones. So how do you get there? And when you get there on the way, how do you change a couple of the things that can help you get there? And so we think that we're going to fill that gap of those few things and make it easier, make it more seamless, make it better, make it bigger. And the great thing about Sports Me is not competitive with podcasts or YouTube or Instagram. It's a content creation hub that can be used for all of those things and help people collaborate. And so everyone hop in, have a blast, because in 3 weeks might not be so simple to hop in. So that's all I'll say.
It definitely can be addictive. It's very fun. You have great personalities there. You make great connections.
Yep.
And if you want to come debate with us, I'm not really bragging here, but me and Sam got a couple, wins on our belts. So if you want to try us. But Sam, do you have a question?
Yeah. So we know there's plenty of battles in Sports Me.
Yep.
What do you think has been the wildest battle you've seen in Sports Me history yet?
The Jake Paul. So we used, it's so funny. Like, in January is we launched a couple months ago, but really things started to when a lot of podcasters and creators started to find Sports Me in like January 1st or so. People were coming, and we started to do this topic of the day. And then it just got out of control, and everyone was creating their own topic of the day. You remember that, Sam? Sam, you did this a couple of times, and then we just kept thinking like, oh, like, cool, like, people like the topic of the day idea now. A whole bunch of people are doing a topic of the day. We don't have the technical capability right now to have like a very specific topic of the day that gets highlighted, and this is coming soon. Again, right now we're working on the foundation of the platform and stabilizing and community more than features. And but the first battle topic of the day was, is Jake Paul changing boxing? And there were like 47 videos in that thread. It went insane. And Andrew Wiley, starting guard on the Chiefs, and Peyton Barber, starting running back on Washington, were both in the battle, along with Dalton Crossan, former retired football player. I don't know if Hollins made it in that one. I know Alex Monaco, who's on the Collard Coward Network now, was in it. He hasn't been on a few days. He's got COVID, but he'll be back. But I know he's feeling better. To me, like, that battle went crazy. But there are a ton that go crazy, and they're so fun to watch. It's not just about joining; it's also watching them. Is just fun. It's just dope content that it doesn't exist anywhere else. Like, nowhere else can you see that sort of content. And the great thing about sports to me is, the problem with content today is it's built around scheduling, right? Like, for us to do this podcast, we had to all agree to 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to make it happen. Then there's technology after that makes that happen. But sports to me is asynchronous. Like, we believe in asynchronous, and no one else believes in asynchronous at all. So, and we'll go live. We'll do live things. We have some really cool, interesting ideas for live, which is fun. But you can hop in literally anytime, anywhere, and it's authentic. You don't need to look like your best, most beautiful self on Sports Me like you do on Instagram and TikTok or Snap. You can just be yourself, and that's what this community loves. For men and women, it doesn't matter. And, Megan, just because we're in the subject, like, we believe that we can be the turning point for women creators in sports, because they get less respect, and there's these horrible beliefs of stereotypes of women in sports. We think we can change that, and so we have some awesome plans to make that happen, and really empower women to think, I can talk sports with guys, and I won't get blasted. People won't make fun of me, or whatever I'm not throwing words in people's mouths, but whatever the barrier is, whatever they're thinking. And this is what people have told me, girls in the platform, women on the platform have told me this. And, I'm excited, because I think this is an amazing opportunity for women creators in sports, and give them another platform to really have that power to be themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I see a lot of fellow women podcasters on the app. I love it.
Lots more. And we're going to have some big partnerships with networks to really drive this home. And we got a lot of fun partnerships lined up. We're a couple months out from really unleashing these. But Sports to Me in probably like 5 or 6 months is going to be a lot different than it is today. And I'm excited.
We have to get all our wins now in Sam.
No, I'm glad I'm here for
we gotta stack up.
Well, before we wrap, the point system is something that we're really looking at, and it's going to look completely different.
Yeah.
Probably look more like Mario Kart, where everybody wins, because you never want to have a platform where only one person wins and people are losers. So there'll be a little bit of that. It'll be a little different, and we're excited for that. So.
Sounds interesting. Yes, on the women thing real quick. Yeah, for women podcasts, you definitely feel pressure as far as you can't mess up, because as soon as you mess up, you're not validated anymore. But Sports Me, you definitely don't feel like that. It's really a very welcoming environment. But my last question real quick before you go, I want to know your finals prediction, NBA finals prediction. Who you got? I know there's something right now.
Well, I have the Celtics winning.
Okay.
But again, hear me out. This is a different, and this is a different NBA season. There are variables in play which are not precedented by other seasons in the NBA. Last year, there was the bubble. A lot of things happened that made it different for teams to be successful. The Milwaukee Bucks, for example, they thrive at home and they're okay on the road. They got put into the same environment as the Miami Heat, and what happened? Their weakness became a huge threat to their existence, and they lost. And so this season, between COVID, you literally have no idea who's going to be in and out at any time. You could get to the playoffs, half of the Blazers could get COVID, and Dame Lillard and McCollum are out, and Nurkic is out, and Melo's their best player. Like, it could happen to anybody. Jason Tatum still says he has effects from COVID and he's still a little slow. It's proven that that's a thing. If AD is out for significant periods of times, this Lakers team is not going to be a threat if they don't have AD. AD is an unstoppable monster. He's literally the most unstoppable player in the NBA because of his size and his shooting ability. Like, LeBron's not the most dominant. He's the best. He might be the best player. AD is the most dominant because you can camp out against LeBron if you really wanted to. You could do what Miami did against the Bucks last season. Yeah. So if you think about that, if, say, AD has an issue, and Shaq said it on TNT the other night, when he tore his Achilles, it was a calf injury that led to a torn Achilles. If AD is out or is lingering or he has issues, it's up for grabs, baby. And think about it. If the Celtics make a move, maybe they get Andre Drummond, they get Kevin Love, they get some big. Look at what they can do. They have one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They have two rising superstars who can score. Pritchard off the bench. Peyton Pritchard is getting better off the bench. Marcus Smart is going to be back. Kemba Walker is playing better, and he obviously knows he has to play better and more consistent and shoot. But if Kemba's on, the dude is a beast. The dude can score. He's so clutch. He's a great passer. Marcus is all of those things. Jalen Tatum are all those things. Robert Williams and Tice and some of the
AP now, 8 Mile.
Yeah, they can do enough. And again, if that happens in the West, who in the East is really such a threat to the Celtics? Not the Heat, not the Bucks. Like, I know the Nets are, but they also play zero defense, and the Celtics play unbelievable team defense, and they're not going to stop their people on sports me crush me because I'm anti-Nets and I'm anti a big three that makes no sense.
Yes,
those dudes can score, but in the playoffs, when things slow down, you need to be unbelievable defense. You need superstars, right? You need superstars. That's how you win, and they have that. But even Shaq and Kobe. Shaq and Dwayne Wade, Kobe and Wade were some of the best defenders in the NBA.
Yeah.
James Harden and Kyrie are not. KD is actually an underrated defensive player, but he's not going to guard an Andre Drummond. He's not going to guard
Steph Curry,
an AD or like a Giannis or a Bam Adebayo. Bam had 45 against the Nets, right? So I've been talking a lot. The point is, guys, if things slow down, Harden has been affected by this in every single playoffs. Things slow down. You need a bench. You need to have 2 or 3 guys who can come off the bench and play defense and score. The Nets don't have that. The Celtics do. And if you can slow down one of those big 3, you'll beat them.
All right, so who? I don't know. I don't agree with that. I don't think Celtics need more bench.
I'm going Celtics. They do need. Everyone needs more bench. They do need a bench score. They absolutely need a bench score.
Now,
I think Celtics Lakers. If AD is in, if AD is not in, I literally have no idea. I have no idea if the Jazz are jokes. I have no idea. It could be the Blazers. It could be Utah. I don't think it's Utah. It could be Utah. I don't know. It could be. It could be Denver, although the Celtics just beat Denver without Marcus Smart, which is awesome. I literally have no idea. The Clippers, they have to do something. So honestly, I don't know.
7 games or?
I mean, it just depends who it is. What if look at KD had a huge injury in the NBA Finals. What if AD is in game 1 and in the second quarter he has tears his Achilles heel? The Celtics win in 5. If he doesn't, Lakers probably win in 6 or 7, but maybe the Celtics win in 6 or 7. I don't know. The Celtics played awesome against the Lakers this season with everyone, and then Marcus was out and they lost. So
I gotta say, I gotta see. I think they need one more. They need one more piece there, or they need some more more offensive, reliable scorers coming off the bench. But
Yeah.
I do think Anthony Davis. I think the Lakers should rest him, so they don't risk him getting injured before those.
Did you guys
Achilles is nothing to play with.
Did you guys see the battle that Steezy I love Steezy That dude has so much energy. He dropped it. I just joined this morning. Are the Lakers going to fall out of the top 4 seeds? Shout out Steezy Smith. Everyone follow him. If they don't have AD for a month and a half, they're going to lose to all the best teams. And their record is going to go down. Like, they're going to beat a bunch of teams, right? They have LeBron. So they're going to be fine. But if they don't have AD, and again, I thought it was a terrible, 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 terrible decision to get rid of Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee and bring in Gasol and Harrell. I love Harrell. The dude just seems like it's always about me, and not team. And I know he's a great dude. I'm sure he's a great character and he's a great locker room presence. But it seems like it seems like he's a little selfish as a player.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I'm sure he's a wonderful human being and an amazing person and family member. I just think
kind of reminds me of Morris a little bit. Like he wants his shot, he wants his attempts, but he's also a smaller big. But I know Stan doesn't want to hear about the Lakers, but I think the Lakers will be fine.
It's real.
I think it will be fine. I think they will be fine. I don't think they care about seeding because of playoffs. Playoffs. I mean, especially with no really home court advantage. The thing is, I think you just can't risk AD getting hurt before the playoffs. If that Achilles is nothing to play with, we see what happened to KD. First they thought it was a calf strain, brought it back too early.
Cousins too. Same thing with DeMarcus Cousins. Same thing with Shaq. The reason Shaq said that is you need to be careful. If you're a big man and you have a calf injury, if he's a calf injury and a lingering Achilles, that is if the Lakers are sitting him for a month and a half, they've said it's over a month now. It's going to be more than 4 weeks. You know that there is something happening there that we don't know about. It's worse than we all think it is. And even if it's nothing, that injury for a guy his size is still something.
Yeah, they need to sit him out a good amount, get him some rest. As long as they're still in the playoff picture, that's fine. Sit him out as long as you need.
Yeah.
All it takes is one smooth Jason Tatum crossover and Jay in his face.
Yeah, that's true.
And the dude is out, right?
And it's sad. And especially with him having an injury history, I think they need to rest him. I definitely agree. I want to thank you so much, Jeff, for having come on the show. I love your energy. I love having you on Talk Sports. I love the Boston, support here. Thank you for coming on the show. For everyone, make sure you guys check out the Sports Me app. Great way to network with other podcasts, with other sports fans. Just have great debates. Thank you again, Jeff. We enjoyed having you on today.
Yo, thank you guys for coming in. Just to your point, anyone who does want to join the Sports Me verse, do it in the next 3 weeks. That's all I'm going to tell you. Because then you're going to need to hit up Megan and Sam for the ability to get in. So,
some clubhouse type of action, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. It's going to be fun. I mean, this week we had a ton of new creators on the platform. I'm sure you guys saw a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And go Celtics.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Peace. See you in the Sports Meverse.
See you in Sports Me. So now I know we got to do a Creighton Young Minds here before we sign off. So Creighton Young Minds Undiscovered League debate. First off, with everything going on with Texas right now, they have a big snowstorm, and there are a lot of pipes and a lot of things are breaking, a lot of things are getting destroyed there. So we don't know what's going on really with the Creighton Young Minds in Texas right now. No word on the games. So I want just everyone keep Texas in your thoughts. If you're religious, pray for Texas, pray for people there. Make sure everything's okay. You guys, we can put links in the bio if you guys want to help financially or whatever you want to do, support. We'll put some links in the bio. But for our Creighton Young Minds Undiscovered League debate, so let's not talk about that one. Give them some love here. Who is the best duo in the Creighton Young Minds Undiscovered League?
Easily, Jarrett Henderson, Damian Durham. Easily.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay.
If Jarrett's having an off game, Damian's going to drop 50. If Damian's having an off game, Jarrett's going to drop 30, 10, 7, 8, 4. Like, that man's stats are ridiculous. He's going to fill those stats up like nothing. And he's not just a stat filler. He's helping out his team. That man's energy is everywhere. Him and Damian, that pick and roll situation, that's a scary combination. Damian from three-point land, you can't stop him. Jarrett inside, it's a force to be reckoned with right there. That team's ridiculous.
I have to be honest, I completely overlooked this duo. I completely overlooked them, And yes, they are so impactful and so huge for the team, right? But I think it's like more individually than together. Like I feel like the better duo, like who play off each other, is Jesse Williams and Marcus Brooks. I love the deal. Love the way they play on Louis' team. They always do the right things. Jesse Williams, great mid range. Marcus Brooks, take it into you and dunk it on your head. Talk about they complement each other really well. Defensively, they always bring it, always make the right plays. They might not stand out to everyone like as Jay Henderson and Durham does, but they're great. Just communicating with each other. And if they come and play, they're always carrying their team. They're always carrying, I feel like, the team to win or to be competitive in the matchup. So I have to give love to Jesse Williams and Marcus Brooks. I think they always do the right thing, even though they don't always put the numbers up like Durham and Henderson. I feel like they play better together and impact the team more as a duo themselves than individually.
Yeah, there's so many great duos in that league, honestly.
A lot of upcoming players. For anyone who wants to check it out, get on game with some undiscovered talent. You guys can watch the Korean Young Minds Undiscovered League in that link below. They play usually every weekend. We'll give you updates on what's going on for the future. There's some things going on in Texas. Again, keep them in your thoughts. If you're religious, pray for them. If you want to help or contribute anyway, we'll put some links in the comments. But until next week, everyone, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Any comments or any thoughts on these debates today, put them in the comments below, and we'll see you next Saturday with a former NFL player. So see you guys next week, and until then, take care. Get our outro in there. I'm doing a voice thing again.